today's episode, we're having a conversation with Richard Knecht and Manuel,
two major innovators and California leaders helping support statewide implementation of our specialized practice.
All right, Tracy, let's go. Wraparound the World podcast again. We're here with some great leaders, about to have a great conversation. We'll see where it goes. I was sharing before we started about how all three of you men are people that I look up to, genuinely, people that I appreciate not only in my professional life, but also in my personal life. And so I just want to appreciate you all for being here. Tracy, I know you're excited to have the conversation. Let's get it started. Maybe we'll take a minute and allow you guys to introduce yourself. Maybe give us a little taste of your journey. Maybe we'll start with you, Manuel. Share a little bit about kind of who you are, what brought you to where you are today, and yeah.
Manuel, I am. I'll start with my father of three, and a beautiful family that I love to death. Product of parents who migrated from Mexico to work the fields in California, and I was born here and I think that's a big part of me because I was raised with those work ethics, values. And I can't eat cherries to this day because I pick cherries. But I think it taught me humility, hard work. Though we were poor on things, we were rich in people. I have family and community around me, which I think when we get into talking about wraparound, was where my passion lies, around making sure that all kids have some sort of community around them. So that's me. My day job is I'm a chief operation officer for a company named Victor. We do wraparound, we do mental health, you name it. 0 to adults, probation, juvenile justice, any population we serve, we're here to help the community. So I get to work with 1,000 beautiful people who have similar passion or missions.
You guys are up to 1,000 staff?
That's
great.
That's
great. Yeah. Half of them are here today.
Fortunate, about 250 came to this conference, and get to see them all around, and they're passionate.
I mean, you got 250 people.
250 were staff, and it wasn't me making them. They wanted to come. And I wanted to be here with them. And so that's just a third of our staff. And
And even
most of the attendees.
Yeah.
So I'm walking around and I get to see, I get to see all my people that I get to work with on a day-to-day basis. So that's pretty cool.
And you guys are spread pretty much across California, right?
We're all over California. We're in 19 different counties.
Let's go. We're so glad to have you, Emmanuel. And then we're going to dig in and talk about wraparound and whatever else we want to. What about you, Rich?
Yeah, boy, thanks. Really quick. Manuel, parents to 3 amazing kids, 5 grandkids, 2 grandbabies. Discovered wraparound quite organically at the age of 8. My family was disrupted. Left with 5 kids, all under the age of 14. And this rich faith community that just instantaneously wrapped themselves around us. They saw us, nobody had to ask, they were just there. And I had no idea, of course, at that point what I was discovering, but I had multiple dads, all of a sudden, multiple moms, and for the next 10 years of my life. It was traumatic as hell, right? But we had the symptom. Anyway, that was my first foray into it. Season playing then, all that, a few years later, I get to be a consultant here. A lot of counties in California to do child or student work. So we help folks build integrated systems. So one sandbox for all kids, right? One wrong door, folks do referral, high-fidelity integration models, advisor to the state, some of that stuff. A few years ago, we invited me to cover the state's system of care to help practice model there. So I'm very experienced doing that. Just happy to be part of the wraparound journey. It's been amazing.
We were just, I think you're talking about the expansion of wraparound, almost like it's like another evolution, like in the 90s, 80s, then again in the early 2000s, and then here we are in 26 and a third evolution.
It's gonna, and we're on the cusp of something really incredible, right? Like we have this legacy now of the old state wraparound, 163, and we drifted a lot programmatically because we lost a lot of dollars, and we've been coasting in some ways, lost some of the ownership. But under the Behavioral Services Act and the Medicaid waiver, we're going to be able to provide high fidelity wraparound with accountability for high fidelity, which we didn't have before, no certification, with a lot more money. We're going to have Medicaid money now because the Behavioral Health Authority is going to be responsible or require them to make that into their system. So some of the early indicators, a couple of big counties around the state are going to have capacity that is breathtaking. 500 high fidelity wraparound slots in county to be named later, 700 in a large capital region county. It could be tens of thousands of kids getting high fidelity wraparound 10 years from now. The implications of that are huge for the system writ large, right? Because every kid that gets high fidelity wraparound before they bump into a court system
Yes.
is one kid that's never going to bump into a court system,
Yes.
which is wraparound's intent. It's why system of care was built, right? So we are poised in California to do something amazing. Can you imagine the number of foster kids being 8,000 kids?
Mm.
We were 120,000 kids in 1990. We could be under 10,000 kids in 15.
I've always taught that wraparound is an intervention on the system more than it is directly on families. Obviously, families get benefits of good wraparound, but when you do wraparound really well, the system reforms. I think that's what we're starting to see. We're starting to see how behavioral health services is seen as an intervention, not something you find a way to go for it. No, this is part of the continuum of care. And where I think there's going to be value is under the new Medi-Cal structured wraparound, is you can do wraparound on non-dependence.
Yeah.
So if you do that really well, hopefully you don't need this
So we're talking about
level.
We could shut down. We could possibly shut them down.
exactly.
Well, yeah, right. So I think that the intervention is it's there for the system. The system needs to reform. I was in a talk this morning and I raised my hand. I said, because they were talking a lot about the trainings the right providers have to get. Providers have to get these training programs. What about everybody else? We can't do wrap well in remote.
Right.
We have to do wraparound as a community, so everybody has to be wrapped informed or trained. So I think that's the next step, is that the burden can't just be on those doing wraparound. The community does the wraparound.
It's not a service provision.
No, it's a culture shift.
Correct.
It's a complete culture shift, and I think I'm starting to see it happen. That's the next step.
And we should celebrate the state, right,
Mhm.
on a lot of fronts, that we've got Assembly Bill 2083 system of care architecture in place to hold that collective wraparound, because no agency can do it alone.
Right.
So even though you got Medicaid money now, you still got to get referral pathways from other systems. Lots of things have to go into that. The two state departments that are administering this, healthcare services and social services, aligned around a technical assistance model for wraparound. It could have gone in different directions. Historically, they'd have said, one would have said, this university is going to do TA for you guys, and this university is going to do 2A, and we'd have been back where we were.
Yep.
They said, no, we're going to bring that together. You're getting aligned now, have been for a year or so on
Think about that.
on the cans, right? Like we're gonna have integrated practice cans in California is gonna be universally applied across that ecosystem.
Right.
So all the things are in place. The hospitable conditions interagency wise are there. We got the funding now, we got the vision. It's all there, which is why it's so dang exciting to see what's gonna happen. Can't wait.
We got the people. We just saw. Man, we got 240 of them.
So much passion for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So it's a pivotal moment. So when I moved to Florida, I was going away. And they've had certification in Florida for how long, Tracy?
Years.
So long time. But the drift is there, right? Like the drift is there. The practice. Florida does great wraparound. And there's some communities, just like in California, that are doing something completely off base.
Yeah.
When I went out there, I was surprised that we were just coming to the certifications table. We're just getting to the point with the policy, with the change, versus other states have done it. An interesting thing is that the communities that have already had certification and let's say flourishing wraparound, they're all looking to California now saying, do you see what California is doing? just think it's an interesting reflection about how some communities have had this system, or think that they had it, and then here we are finally catching up to the game, and now the people that are in certification are looking to us as a leading thing. It's kind of weird.
Well, I mean, I think talk about certification, but that's what impacting one system. But you all have, right? That integrated practice model where you're, looking to all systems really integrate. Certification doesn't really do that. It just says, kind of putting all the rules in place. But to your point around, we got to still get everybody to the table and show you how to do that, and then we're kind of requiring what that needs to look like. You said you authored, what that is, and continue to really go back and look at how to really put that in place, and all the things need to still align together. TA, all the things continually to really continue that, to make it work.
Well, in a sustained way, right?
Just sure.
System driven, right?
Yeah.
So all you can do is do your best in the moment, and then hold on to the collective vision through the leadership change that's generational.
Right.
Hold on to that structure, which is baked into the master MOU now that all counties have to do, and make sure those cross-system functions are attended to.
Yeah.
We were talking this morning at breakfast over, is the system ready in California for some fidelity to the system work, right? Like at the systems level, is there a way to design an assessment that once a year, the new agency leadership team can collectively ask itself, are we working? Is it paying, right? What's the return on it?
That's intriguing.
We're gonna get it done, because that's the last thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's the key to sustainability, because then if the state can somehow get the counties to question themselves once a year on their fidelity to the system, then you can hold it through those modulations in money, policy, leadership. Sorry, I cut you off.
No,
Thanks for
when the concept of certification first came up, I was not a fan. I was sitting there thinking, I've been doing Wraparound for 20 years. Who's gonna audit me?
Yeah, real talk.
The county? I teach.
Sorry,
I know. So my first reaction was this gut, like bureaucratic oversight that's gonna give me a slap in the hand because from I didn't dot this I or cross this T. So there's still that in it.
Yeah.
I'm still a little bit
Precautious.
just a little bit about certification in California and in the Medi-Cal world sometimes means audits.
Right.
That's real.
Right? So if it's certification for the sake of bureaucracy, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, well said.
But what I've been preaching is certification should be a byproduct of clarity, competency, and autonomy. So the clarity in the deliverables, competency in the skills, autonomy, get out of my way, let me do it right.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be. But if it's certification for the sake of somebody auditing me, no, not now. I know there has to be oversight for alignment and all that, but it should be for the sake of getting clarity on what's expected. Help me get competent, and then let me get out of the way. Let me teach you. So I'm hoping that's what we move towards, because that's my concern.
Yeah.
And I've said this aloud in all the meetings that if it's just for the sake of the staff and then you provide oversight, this isn't useful for families.
Well, can we celebrate the history here for just a second?
Come on.
The deeper history. The late great Jerry Doyle.
Yep.
At what was then Eastfield Ming Kwong Center for and Richard Donner. There are others. I don't know who they were, but he saw back in 1996, 95, 96, he said, "It's not working with our foster."
Yeah.
And there's way too many to congregate care, and those kids, of course, are not going to have good outcomes. But without any public dollar, he figured it out. He went to
Judge and say,
well, he learned about Wraparound going to Pierce County, Washington, I think, home fighters, right? And then
I don't think I've heard this.
and then John Franz and the folks at Madison County, Wisconsin, one of the counties in Wisconsin, right, was doing some early Wraparound for kids and families.
Wisconsin. Yeah.
And Jerry brought it back to California with just philanthropy money in Santa Clara because the state had $1 million. And Medicaid at that point for Wraparound was unheard of. So this is before any class action lawsuits, right?
Right.
So let's acknowledge the greatness and the
Right.
vision of him. And then Sacramento County saw what Santa Clara was doing, and they said,
Yeah.
and the state said, okay, thus was born 163, right? And then every county had a chance to do it. And so we had that legacy for 20 years with state money alone to do wraparound. And we had so much learning. And this is how we learned
Dissemination.
wraparound, right?
Correct.
And so that without that, we would be wondering today, you do we would have to be learn wraparound before we can apply the Medicaid dollars to it. We've got so much legacy now that all it is a matter of taking the money and say, oh, we can blow this up. We can serve 25,000 kids in California for it.
We used to have, remember we used to have the trainers like me
Mhm.
and Jay would go out and certify accountants.
Mhm.
That's where I met Jared. They,
Mono counties.
they told me, hey, you gotta go to Mono County and do this training, and I'm gonna give you this rookie kid. I'm gonna assign you because he needs some training. And I tend to be a little bit more polished in my presentation. I give me this guy that's cussing. And I'm looking at, where you go?
Where's it go? I remember telling you, you're never gonna get me in stacks. I've stood up on the chair.
Who am I doing this training with? This guy's dropping F-bombs. And I'm like, I don't roll like that.
Yep.
But then at the end of that training, we bonded.
Yes. Yeah.
We connected.
I did not bond to.
I think we even met our families on that trip. Was that the way?
Yeah, we brought our families and but I think the bond was in the passion to help a community in the middle of nowhere, Mono County, and try to get them to understand this thing called wraparound with limited resources and an abundance of resources at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where Jay, that was our passion. I was wearing jackets and slacks.
Hey,
I'm proud of
I'm
them.
trying to come up.
Yeah.
Well, it's something we talked about earlier, and I don't know what's ringing in my head right now. And thank you for bringing up those moments. We were talking with Eric just a little bit earlier, same kind of conversation. And one of the things he was talking about is like, how do you know, like with the top three, like when they're really doing good wraparound, like what would be the things that you would like see? If we just had two or three, what would they be? And I felt like he had the most poignant answer, and I'd love to get your guys' perspective on the same question. Like, how do you know it's wraparound? From looking from an outside perspective, what are the 1, 2, 3s? He said there's only a one. And he said is what he'll do, when this is what they do, right, with the work team, is they'll go and they'll meet a staff and they'll ask the staff, do you know what wraparound is? Then they'll define it and hope, and if they do a good job at it, which is great, that's a +1. And they said the only other part of the question is, then he asked them, does your agency and your county support you to actually do what they tell you to do? And he said many communities say, hell yeah, we're about that life, and they really get it. But he said, and then there's other ones that their immediate response is, I wish we could do wraparound. And he was like, that is one of the clearest ways to out the gate to know. Because the staff, they like you said, they've been educated. It's a part of the culture now. We got a million wraparound staff ready to go in California, just waiting on the policy to hit, right? But how do we know it's real? Well, part of it is when, like us, we feel confident in that I'm doing it. I'm getting the feedback. I'm allowed to do it. People don't stifle me when I say we're gonna go do something crazy, So I'm curious what your thoughts are on that kind of the same question, if it lines up, if it's different. Let's start with you, Rich. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's a really great question. I love Eric's answer. And he would certainly know better than I relative to the fidelity of wraparound. At the system level, when I go into a county, if we start talking about are our intensive services working, is wraparound authentic here, I think I'm looking for two things. And it's kind of organic, but you're just observing. The first thing is, are there in the county offices, inside the bureaucracy, are there youth and parents with lived experience co-located with government people?
Mhm.
And are there living experienced folks in shared governance? So if there's an interagency leadership team, is there a youth or former youth there?
Mhm.
Do they sit in silence or do they co-facilitate?
Right.
So that's one.
And that's system wraparound, right? Right.
Yeah, and that transforms the system, right? Because
Correct.
the professionals can't talk
Uh-huh.
about those people
Because we're right here.
because you share a copy with them.
Yeah, correct.
So there's that. Second thing is, every county in California at least has something called interagency placement committee, which can be done with great effectiveness. In many counties over the years, it kind of gravitates to just kind of a perfunctory blessing of congregate care, which is unfortunate. But the indicator for authentic wraparound is, do they use that process to apply whatever it takes?
Mhm.
So when a kid is referred into that interagency conversation, we're talking about little Richie's, needs.
Yeah.
Is there observable disruptive resource development, like, are the answer to the questions, well, no, we can't do that service because he's not eligible.
Right.
If they settle around those kinds of answers, if that's the dialogue, that's not wraparound either. If the answers are, oh, I have this program and normally we wouldn't use it for a kid in that zip code or that age or in that, at that campus, but we're gonna do it for this kid. Then I see evidence that the mindset for keeping our kids at home, in school, away from trouble, then it's on display. So those are the two things I see at the system level, more quickly.
Yeah, I was thinking about your second one and how you could tell right away. You go in, you talk to, remind me what you said, Rich and Boston.
That's the interagency placement committee.
Correct. And that we have parent youth partners and that their work, the whole committee is working on behalf of the team. So for example, housing. Another one might be, I can't pay for my meds. These are problems that wraparound staff try to manage. And it should be a simple phone call to the ILT to say, we need your backup, we need you to handle this. And, you know, I heard a video about Carl Dennis before he passed away was talking with Ira Laurie and I forget her name. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember right now, but they were talking about having access to anything within an hour. Within an hour, we got anything you need. And I thought about that, like compared to today, and I know that our ILTs could do it. They have should be able to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know that youth and families know that these teams are there to work on their behalf, you know?
We got a long way to go,
Yeah.
but the model is now present
Yes.
and the expectation is present.
Yeah.
So that's what we got. We didn't have that 3 to 5 years.
Well, they weren't even coming together, but
Right,
then.
right. So now we got that thing there. So now we can help them, coach them, right, to maximize that and understand the full implication of the usness, the wholeness, the singularity,
Yeah.
the oneness of the system.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you said. That what you said and what Eric said are very system, like
Mhm.
looking at it from a system perspective. I'll add, I now serve those who serve.
Right.
I am no longer doing wraparound directly. I serve the people who serve the kids. That's my job. I'm here to serve my staff. I had dinner with the wraparound team last night. And to answer your question, you feel it by looking at the people. Our wraparound programs have about 95% retention rate. That means we're keeping facilitators for years.
Yeah.
We're keeping parent partners paid well, taken care of.
promoting too.
Well, I was a facilitator. We promote from within. So when wraparound works, people stay in wraparound because it's the workforce that will give you feedback. When wraparound's not working, the workforce leave.
That's a real good
And when they leave,
Yeah.
I don't care what system you have in place, what policy, what you're not going to implement it. And so I sat next to a parent partner who's been with Victor for 12 years. She got her BA at Victor. She's getting her master's degree at Victor. She's going to be a facilitator. So that's wraparound work.
Yeah.
That's wraparound because she's staying there and all that richness and experience. Guess who benefits from?
Oh yeah.
Families.
Yeah.
So from a workforce, which is I think one thing we have to look at, because our industry loses a lot of good people. And if we don't retain them by having culture that supports them so they can do the work.
Yeah, this is beautiful, and it's another indication of what you said earlier, that wraparound's an intervention on the system, right? Because in a bureaucratic, codified, statute-driven effort to help people, we burn out because they're not allowed to be healers.
Yep.
They're they're mini
The paper
compliance
signatures.
officers, right? They're chasing paper, signatures, whatever.
The family policing system.
But you've got an organizational system at Victor, and there are other great ones around the state.
Sure.
And the systems that you work in to fund you support it enough so that your healers can be healers.
Yeah.
Which is why that's why we all went in this, to be healers.
We have a program in San Bernardino County that has to serve a community called Needles, which is in the middle of nowhere.
It's a 10 degrees today.
Tonight's day.
And yesterday at dinner, I asked, how many of you guys been to Needles? Half of them rose their hand.
No way.
Nobody's making them go to Needles. They want to go to Needles. That's cool. And they don't care. They travel time, they don't care all this stuff. So I think when wraparound is working, when you look at the workforce.
Yes.
When the workforce is developed, skilled, clear, competent, and we get out of the way and let them do what they need to be,
Wow.
that's so amazing. You track that.
Yeah, right.
And I think Eric talked about that this morning as well.
Yeah.
Right? He said, the
Wellness.
the research they did was to point that they asked about, how what it would work, and it's job satisfaction. I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do that. And it's not, well, it's much about me, but and able to do the work I want, the healing work that I got to do. So.
And the beautiful thing about wraparound, this is what's kept me wraparound for years, is if you're allowed to do wraparound well,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you can have fun at work. Like I love Jay with this because he's still doing wraparound.
Oh, yeah.
That's what great work. And wraparound is hard work, but it's fulfilling and fun when you're allowed to do it that way. And it's one of the few interventions that has team built into them.
Yep.
I'm a big sports junkie. And so I think that part of what makes wraparound go is team. Team's not easy, it's hard, but when you have team, all the research shows that people stay at their job or return to their job for the people they work with.
Mhm. That's great. So we'll let it marinate for a minute, and maybe there's some other things you just want to share. Maybe there's a question maybe even you might have we could chew about. If there's none, what is the main thing you wanted to make sure you said on our show today?
One of the things that you talked about the 20 years, many years that you guys have been doing that, right? From going to California. I think it was the 20th anniversary was my first conference,
Out here.
Davis conference. And I saw, it was the word magic or, community or whatever it was. And I was so struck and I couldn't believe, the families, the parent partners, the panelists. And I was just on fire. The integrated, practice of people. I think the very first one I was listening to, this family was talking about their experience working the facilitator, how they encouraged, and I don't read the agency. But I do remember was talking about a facilitator and how well, they did, and the inspiration behind it, and it was a community mentor. And this is what they were saying about their person who was in, I think, probation or something. And the probation person, they called it, and
Right.
this is the person that was, really helpful. And it was because they, as a community, everybody was kind of really coming together, and people from education, from probation, from behavioral health, from everybody was at this conference. And, I was super inspired, and I can see why, right? Because of what the things you all are saying, what you guys went through to kind of get here. And from people that are in this room.
Let's go. Yeah, real talk.
So it's awesome.
Well, I think Jared and I does wraparound. Jared and I does wraparound. So and Richard calls and asks for help. I had to call him, ask for help, and we kind of help each other out.
Right.
Yeah. Trying to accomplish this.
Yeah, there's a uniqueness in some of our communities, right? That it's not about collaboration, competition, competition. It's about collaboration, right? And I think we are consciously aware of our deficits and have not been okay with it, and have been striving with system of care, continuum of care reform for a long time to make this change. And I think that it's intriguing to think about the next 20 years of California Radical. Because I hope that, and as you kind of say, Rich, one wrap for all, right? And when I'm not just talking just about children, youth, and families, I'm talking about adults, transitioning from institutions. We're talking about people in their end of life, right? Or aging. We're talking about divorce, domestic violence. We're talking about family separation, whether it's the family policing system or it's other regulatory bodies that are policing, right? And wraparound being this intervention on complex transitions in life. So I think about the next future and the expansion. Like you think, we're only serving primarily, child welfare, mental health, probation. But what would it really be like if we opened up Pandora's box?
Yeah. And can I riff off
Please.
that?
Come on.
I'll try to do it without getting emotional because when you think about what's inside of Pandora's box, in healthcare, in human services, we've been given lip service to this idea of wholeness, integrated health for decades in this country, both public and private, and you do very little toward that. Wraparound is an exception where the model, the approach actually forces some wholeness, forces us into integration. You can't do it to fidelity without it. And I'm just personal belief that wraparound is one of those ways that the universe, source, light, energy, way bigger than us, is taking care of us. Right? Because it's something that works.
That's deep.
And integration, reconnection with community. So fundamental principle, natural supports, community-based, right? Like when you do that stuff to fidelity, which is the hallmark of wraparound, people find their identity vis-a-vis other people. And with source, right? So this is a journey that's spiritual. It's way beyond fidelity or practice or reducing them with fostering. This is about people understanding who they are in relationship to their creator. Sorry to get too personal about this. But that's what this life is for anyway. And we get this sacred role to influence the system on some level, or to train a person to be the facilitator, someone rediscovering who they are, relationship to. Isn't that rich?
Bro, I'm over here tearing up myself. Look
You
at
know-
that old Manny over there.
You know,
getting
it's
it too.
cool about what you're saying. So I'm going to talk about Jared.
Oh, no.
He's making the deal like yourself.
Come on.
So I've always tried to give Jay advice, and now he's giving me advice. We have this great relationship. And when he told me I'm leaving my company to go on my own, Jay, I wanted to shake you.
You did. I remember the conversations.
I'll offer you a management job. I'm going for me a mentor. What are you doing? You're gonna be self-employed
From Florida.
in Florida. I have a job for you with benefits, with all this. What are you doing to your family? And I remember having doubting, and I'll never doubt you again, because you actually have taught me how to be brave. And you're doing wraparound with the whole country now. I was trying to get you to drop around in a little community, and you saw that you can do more of this. And so I love watching your podcast, and I love seeing you all over the place, and I'm watching this monkey hat doing all that stuff, and I have these proud moments. I'm trying to make him a manager, so we're in Riverside. And he said, "No, I want to be in Idaho. I want to be in Washington. I want to be here. I want to go." So back to what you're saying, yeah, like that's him just fulfilling himself and bringing it to the Lord.
Yeah, you feeling close to my higher self. You know,
Sacred message.
Yeah.
And your sacred messenger.
Yeah.
I mean, you got me on a podcast, and I don't do podcasts for social media, so it better not be all. So.
Okay, enough about that. I love you guys. All right. Yeah. What else do we want to say? This is critical. I think one of the things we're talking about is like humanity, humanness. At the core of everything, the opposite of separation, trauma is connection.
It's what we need. Can you just survive?
Yeah.
And again, there's so few successful efforts at integration of ecosystems.
Mm-hmm.
The code gets in the way, the money gets in the way, ego, whatever it is. But wraparound's an exception. We're ready to do that on a massive scale. California, Kensington, Valentine's.
And then around the world. This has been great. Tracy, what else we want to ask him? This has been great. Wait, I need to follow up. So we're gonna have to do another podcast. We're gonna bring you guys on again. This has really been great. We'll allow you some time to just kind of say anything else you want to say.
I have nothing except thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Great to do conversation with y'all.
Thank you so much.
And no cheese on the tacos. Like I'm not just trying to do too much, but when I tell you guys that I look up to you and you all the stuff about me, like I wouldn't do it unless I was standing by your guys' side, all three of you. And appreciate you all. And I know Rich, you're trying to retire and move on and go all do all those things, but we'll see how that goes. But congratulations and good luck on your future endeavors. You'll continue to have a resounding ripple of impacts on this world. We love you, brother.
I appreciate it.
You too, Manuel. I've always looked up to you, always will. Call you Uncle Manny for a reason. And it's really been cool to have you on the podcast. Hope we continue to inspire nations. Well, real talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, let's do a clap out. Let's go.